today I wanted to talk about media overconsumption, because I feel like that's something I do. I feel like it's way too easy to fill in every second with meaningless slop. Like turn on a podcast for the commute, a commentary video while I'm doing chores. If I'm bored or have a free second, instead of sitting with that, I'll just open TikTok or Twitter or something. I mean, like when TikTok was briefly banned, I kept opening the app from muscle memory alone. Like, dude, my brain is fried. I'm cooked. I feel like society's shifted toward a model of gluttonous overconsumption when it comes to media. And I think something was lost with that. We always have to be doing something. But my best thoughts, at least for me personally, come out when I'm doing nothing. Our moms were right all along, dude. It really was our damn phones. I'm not advocating for disconnecting from all media altogether. I still like using it, but I want to be more intentional about how I consume it. Generally, I think that there's two types of media in whatever medium it might come in. That could be books or movies or YouTube videos or whatever else. There's stuff that makes me think actively, and there's stuff that makes me turn my brain off. And I want to prioritize engaging with the former. Even then, I think slop has its place. Like opening TikTok for a quick laugh is fun, and I don't want to stop entirely. I don't think the brainworms would let me, even if I wanted to. But let's be honest, we're all forgetting the TikTok we just watched as soon as we scroll to the next. Which isn't wrong inherently, but engaging with something actively, it's what makes me feel human. Like, I love to read, and I have so many books, but I don't read nearly as often as I should. But it's just, it's too easy to open YouTube or TikTok whenever I have free time. My brain's not fried to the point where I can't enjoy reading, luckily. I know some people who don't have the attention span for it, or had the love for it beaten out of them by the education system, which, understandable. But I just don't make as much time for it as I should. I want to prioritize the things that make me feel human, and only interact with things that make me feel like a mindless consumer in moderation. To be fair, as soon as any new form of entertainment comes out, some people will shit on it and be like, the old ways are better. Like, I think it was, I'm quoting, I think Socrates here, or maybe Plato, or Plato quoting Socrates. In any case, he complained about how everyone's reading books nowadays and are never left to their own thoughts. Always reading, never thinking. But nowadays, you see someone reading in public, and it's like, whoa, you're reading? Whoa, crazy. I bet you're so smart. Maybe that speaks to the ever-shifting goalposts of this sort of thing. But I feel like the line I drew between active and passive media consumption makes sense, so I'm gonna roll with it. Or like with gaming, instead of queuing Marvel Rivals over and over again, I'll try to just play a match or two every other day and focus on more story-based stuff, because that's what makes me feel good. Like, dude, I finished Outer Wilds the other day. No game has, in the history of games I've played, helped me come to terms with my own mortality the way that one has. It is such a beautiful, masterful piece of art. It's amazing. Every single human being needs to experience this. And I have a ton of unplayed games on Steam that are just like that, and I just need to play them. Like, what I'm getting at here, I'm not just talking about reading books instead of watching TikTok, although that's probably a good thing to try and do. What I'm getting at is I want to prioritize meaningful experiences and stuff that makes me feel human over whatever's comfortable, whatever comfortable slop I can, do just to pass the time. I want to engage with things, man. I want to engage and learn to just sit in silence every once in a while. Back when I was lifeguarding, sometimes you'd be on stand and there'd be like no one in the pool. All you could do was sit and think. And that's one of the big complaints a lot of people have with the job, which I understand. But I actually liked it. It felt good for my brain, like in a time period where you're always doing something, there's always flashing lights and stimulation, just having to sit there and be alone with your thoughts for like an hour. It was kind of sick. I have considered meditation before. I never really could get into it though. My main issue with meditation is that my brain, it won't turn off. Like, if I'm sitting alone and like there's nothing to actively engage with, then my brain just goes crazy thinking about stuff. And that makes it pretty hard to, have mind go empty, whatever you're supposed to do with meditation. And I know that it takes training and I could probably eventually get the hang of it, but I don't know. I kind of just prefer being with my thoughts, honestly. I like to think. If you feel like your attention span sucks and it's kind of hard to get out of the slop type of stuff, it is something you can work on. Just like how the current media landscape trained your attention span to be low, you can train to increase it. Maybe start by doing certain menial tasks without background noise, or limiting the doom scrolling. Most intense form I've seen of people doing stuff like this is like stuff where people will stare straight ahead and raw dog an entire like 6-hour flight. No music, no podcasts, no movies or entertainment or anything. They just sit there and stare at the back of the chair in front of them for the whole thing. That's pretty crazy. I probably wouldn't do that myself, but it's an example. You know, you can train yourself to be able to do these things. Still though, probably don't do that one, or maybe none of it. If what you're doing works for you, hey man, keep it up. That's just how I want to change some of my own personal habits. Like there's so many things that I like to do that I find meaning in. I like spending time with people. I like going on hikes. I like photography. I like going to the gym. I like making videos like this one. There's so many things that I find meaningful that like I feel like add to my soul. And then there's other things like TikTok, which I enjoy, but it's more of a, instead of actively engaging in the experience and gaining something from it, it's just like passing the time, which has its place. But I want to, you know, limit it to healthy doses because I'm on TikTok too much, man. That's all the app for today. I'm sure most of you guys can probably relate. I feel like most of us are on TikTok more than we should be. Also, I'm going to try and post on this channel more because that's another thing that I like to do that I feel like I find meaning in because I'm a yapper. I like to yap. So might as well turn it into something. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.